Today's debate on human rights abuses in Kashmir is one close to my heart. It's very personal for me. In the 1960s, my grandfather came to the West Midlands to work in the foundries, having left his home in Kashmir, and I still have family in the region, and that's what makes what's happening in Kashmir all the more painful. It's now more than 2 years since the BJP Modi government unilaterally revoked Articles 370 and 35A of the Constitution, robbing Indian-occupied Kashmir of autonomy reflective of its status as an occupied territory, violating UN Resolution 17 and initiating a brutal lockdown. This has intensified human rights violations in the region, with widespread reports of torture, rape, extrajudicial execution, and illegal detention. In what is now the largest military occupation in the world, internet connection was cut off, political leaders, activists, and journalists were arrested. In 2020, following their reports of widespread state abuses, human rights organisation Amnesty International faced reprisals from the Modi government and was forced to halt its operations in the region. These repressive actions have been mirrored in how the Indian government has cracked down on the largest protests in world history, led by tens of thousands of farmers, how it has unlawfully detained British Sikhs in India, such as Jagtar Singh Johal, and how it attempted to have 3 British Sikhs from the West Midlands extradited, only for Westminster Magistrates Court yesterday to rule that there wasn't evidence to justify it. I send my solidarity to the families of these men who have faced months of agonising uncertainty and fear, and to the Sikh community in Coventry and across the UK. Mr. Deputy Speaker, human rights abuses in Kashmir are not simply some issue of foreign policy of which Britain can wash its hands of responsibility, nor are they a bilateral issue for India and Pakistan to resolve. This House has a special responsibility for the plight of the Kashmiri people. In 1947, as the colonial power, the British government oversaw partition of the Indian subcontinent and rejected calls for Kashmiri independence. That decision laid the groundwork for the oppression we see in Kashmir today. But far from standing up to the Indian government for its violations of human rights and international law, this Conservative government would rather cozy up to Prime Minister Modi, would rather refuse to speak out, and once again demonstrate moral cowardice that shames this House. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Britain has a special responsibility to the Kashmiri people, and it's long past time that we spoke up for their inalienable rights and pursued diplomatic channels to secure UN Resolution 47, securing their right to self-determination.